Let's take a look at the voice mode now, and I have to say I do really like this. I'm going to click here on this voice button to start a conversation. What are the main specifications of this iPad Pro?
The iPad Pro features an Ultra Retina XDR display, options for 11-inch or 13-inch sizes, and includes an M5 chip with up to a 10-core GPU. It offers storage options from 256 GB up to 2 TB, and supports features like ProMotion, True Tone, and optional nano texture glass. It also includes advanced cameras, supports Apple Pencil and Magic Keyboard, and has connectivity options like Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi Cellular.
What about battery life? Is it going to last me all day?
One moment. The iPad Pro in 2025 offers impressive battery life, with the 11-inch model lasting around 17 hours in video playback at moderate brightness. Generally, you can expect all-day usage on a single charge. However, real-world usage, such as screen brightness and background apps, can affect battery performance. Would you like more details or tips on optimizing battery life?
Nah, that's okay. Have the reviews for this been positive?
User reviews of the iPad Pro are generally positive. The display quality is praised, with high brightness, HDR support, and a smooth refresh rate. The performance with the M4 or M5 chip is solid, and the device handles multitasking and demanding applications well. Some users note that while Apple Intelligence might not be as impactful, the overall experience is strong. Would you like to explore specific reviews or details further?
Nah, that's okay.
Got it. If you need further assistance, let me know.
Okay, let's close this. So a very simple dialogue there, but it was comfortable. I was happy just sitting here and talking. The speed of the assistant's voice wasn't too much. It was clear, it was accurate, and it picked up on my speech and my accent fine as well, without issue. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, on the left here, I'm working on a report on Apple's financial results. And at the bottom, there is a table, and I could do with filling in some of this information. Now, I could go away and search all of this up, but that takes time. Whereas I could get Comet to just tell me the results and I fill them in line. Of course, I'm not going to be able to commentate over the top of this whilst Comet's talking to me, so I'm just going to let this play. Find Apple's Q1 financial year 2022 revenue and break it down by product category.
In Q1 of fiscal 2022, Apple reported total revenue of $123.9 billion. The breakdown by product categories is iPhone with around $61.2 billion, Mac approximately $10.9 billion, services about $19.5 billion, and wearables, home and accessories near $14.7 billion. Would you like more details on any of these categories?
You forgot about the iPad.
You're right. In Q1 2022, iPad revenue was approximately $7.25 billion. Would you like further assistance with additional details or related queries?
I need to know the growth on the previous year.
The revenue grew by about 11% compared to the previous year. Would you like more details on the year-over-year growth for specific categories?
No thanks, but I would like Q2, please.
In Q2 of fiscal 2022, Apple reported revenue of $97.3 billion, up around 9% year-over-year. The breakdown includes iPhone at approximately $50.57 billion, Mac around $10.43 billion, iPad about $7.65 billion, wearables at roughly $8.82 billion, and services at $19.8 billion. Would you like any further details or related queries?
Nah, that's okay.
Understood. If you need further assistance, let me know.
Okay, let's close this again. So that was great. So in the main, I could fill in as the assistant was speaking, and even the bits where I slipped a little bit behind, the transcript was on the screen, so I could just look across and fill it in. And if I need to get to this transcript again in the future, I've got it saved to my threads library in Perplexity. It's like having a teacher or an intern on hand to feed you those valuable bits of information whilst you're working. It's really efficient and useful. Now, I did say there were a few settings I wanted to cover with you to close. Now, a lot of these are standard settings that you'll see on other browsers, so I'm going to skip over those. But privacy and security, that is something to look at. And we'll use the example that I made earlier with Amazon. So if you want to block personal search of any sites, you can. I'm in privacy and security and I'll click add here. It lists current sites that are open and I can add a manual one in here as well. But let's come down to Amazon and select it. So now Comet Assistant should not work on Amazon. And let's see. I'm going to open up a new tab, then the assistant here. And I'll ask a question here that requires navigation to Amazon. Okay, what does it do? So here it's looking to do that by going actually into Gmail and taking a look at my invoices and receipts, which kind of makes sense. I haven't explicitly connected Gmail and the Gmail calendar to it though. It was a web page that we looked at earlier in the video and I'm not connecting this up. So I'm going to skip because I want to see if it goes to the site. Okay, it's saying it can't do it. It needs access to email to do this. And it gives me instructions on how to get to my order history. Okay, that means I'm going to need to be a bit more specific here. Go to amazon.co.uk and tell me how much I've spent. Okay, let's see what it does. And it is actually going there. So should it be here? I've told it not to. I've signed in on the account and I can see it says it's clicking. It's reading the page. And it's unable to access amazon.co.uk because I've restricted it. Well, thank goodness for that. That wouldn't have been a demo that I wanted to show. So if you want to block Comet Assistant explicitly from any sites, that's how you do it. Then the other setting that's worth looking at is search engine. So of course it's Perplexity by default, and you can click change here to select another if you wish. But that's not what I wanted to show specifically though. If we click on manage search engines and site search, you've got these shortcuts or bangs available to use different search engines without changing the default. So if you want to search in DuckDuckGo, just type !D before the search term. And this means that you can add your own in. So let's add ScreenCastsONLINE. Then the shortcut for that will be the exclamation mark there with SCO. Now every site's URL is going to be different here. You'll need to navigate to it to find it out for yourself, but the search URL ScreenCastsONLINE uses is here. So after screencastsonline.com, it's /search /S equals percentile, then S. That means whenever we type exclamation mark SCO in the address bar, whatever we type afterwards is going to be searched for on the screencastsonline.com site. So let's test that out. We'll have a new tab, enter my shortcut, then Perplexity, and it searches inside for our videos with Perplexity in the title or description. So for your favorite sites that you use and query often, add in some shortcuts to save even more time. So that was Comet, a browser that has a lot of potential and definitely shows the direction of travel for the common web browser. It's got some great features, and as we saw, the autopilot type features are impressive, but definitely can't be relied on 100% of the time. And you certainly need to be sure that you're comfortable with the level of data that does get sent to Perplexity. I have to say though, I'm looking forward to seeing what this app will be like this time next year. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with some more videos. So we'll see you then.